Hi, my divine money peeps. How are you today? Welcome to Tuesday. I'm a couple days late on my Sunday videos, but I'm sure sure excited to be here today. I am here to talk about the Divine Feminine, Part 4. This is the last video of a 4-part series that I've been working on, talking about the different concepts regarding the Divine Feminine. And the Divine Feminine is card number 41 from the Divine Money Goddess Oracle cards that I wrote, specifically to bring the feminine language to money and to bring a new perspective and a new mindset around money, so that we can heal our relationship with money, heal our relationship with ourselves, increase our financial vibration, and create a financial life that we want, so that homes and families and businesses can be profitable, joyful, peaceful, and not make money be the issue in the house. Because money very often becomes a huge issue, especially when it's not there. So, hi, I'm Beth Ann McMerrick. I'm the founder and creator of Divine Money Mastery. I've been an accountant for over 25 years, and now I bring together money and spirituality, and to bring a new mindset and a new emotion and a new feelings and a new experience around our money. And I wrote these cards, like I said, specifically to bring in the divine feminine energy around money. And the divine feminine, the interesting thing about this is, so when I got the download, I knew that when I started my accounting company, that when I saw that there was all these issues and concern and feelings around money, I knew that I had to do something to create more peace and well-being around this money issue. Because when I saw there was all this trauma, hurt, and shame around the money, I realized, well, this is why companies are failing. This is why businesses aren't profiting the way that they want to. And when businesses aren't profiting, they're not able to pay employees or vendors, and it trickles down into creating more chaos and hurt and shame in the home, and just so much more stress. And ultimately, that's where my big passion, where the whole just even getting into business for myself started with, was wanting to bring more joy, peace, and contentment within the home. And I saw that money was the main thing that caused more issues in people's homes, especially in my own. So when I got the download, when I decided, okay, I've got to do something, I got the idea to create and write my own set of oracle cards. And oracle cards are different in that they're more about connecting with your higher self and with your guides to get specific information for yourself to move forward. And these particular cards, the Money Goddess cards, I wrote specifically connecting with the Divine Mother. And it really was a journey throughout that whole process of what that was going to look like. And it has definitely evolved over the years. But when I got the download, so there's 44 in the set. When I got the whole 44, card number 41, this is one of the bonus cards. And being that was a divine feminine, for a long time, I really kind of avoided writing this particular card because I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to write the divine feminine, because my own experience with my own mother was very tumultuous. It was a very violent relationship, both verbally and physically and emotionally violent. And I think even as a young child, there was at a point when I thought maybe she wasn't really my mother, because how could she treat me the way that she treated me? So for a long time, I even thought maybe she wasn't even really my real mother. But now, as I'm older and I see pictures, like, I look like my mother. So I definitely know she's my mother. But I want to read this concept first, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. My phone's dinging. So I'm going to turn this down. So I'm going to read this. She gives us our wings and the courage to live and be ourselves. Through connected affection, you are part of her divine love. She comforts and she empowers you. Yin side of me. And like I said, I was really concerned about how I was actually going to write this particular card because my relationship with my own mother was just, she was not supportive. She was not, I mean, I ultimately, like, there was a point where my brothers and sisters were giving me Mother's Day's cards. And so I remember very clearly when I wrote these cards, when I wrote this card, I was in St. George at a writer's retreat, and I decided to go on a little drive about. And that was ultimately just to drive around and see the scenery and see the mountains. I hadn't been to St. George before, and I love the Red Mountains. And it's just gorgeous out there. And I find a lot of comfort in nature, but also just a lot of information in nature as well. And so as I'm doing my driving, now my computer's dinging. As I was doing my driving, I went around this road and I started heading into this canyon, and it just surprised me how the canyon was shaped, because it ultimately looked like I was driving back into the womb of the canyon, of the mother. And I thought, well, this is interesting, just driving back into the womb of the mother. And I found a little place. It actually ended up dead. Actually ended up being kind of a dead end. There was a school. It was a school at the end of this road that it was one of those, like a drama school. So they did music and they did plays and they did all types of art type of things at this school. So I just found a little place to park. I parked in the parking lot there, and they had this beautiful canyon scenery that was next to it. And I thought, I'm just going to get out and step out onto this side of the road and just take a peek and watch what was happening with this canyon. And if you've ever been to St. George and in these red canyons, I mean, it's basic desert space. So there's hardly anything growing, and those things are growing are like bushes and stickly, prickly things, and nothing really extravagant as far as, like, no lush trees, no lush grasses. It was just desert, dry, cracky, prickly kind of branches and rocks and things. And I remember just watching this rock face and noticed that in the cracks of the rock face of this canyon were, there would be like some plants would be growing out of it. But I saw a little bird flying in and flying out, and flying in and flying out. My phone hasn't rang or dinged all day today, and that keeps dinging. So apparently the angels are with us. And then even in these prickly bushes, it was like the birds, they were hopping from one prickly bush to the next prickly bush, and you could hear them singing and playing and talking. Hold on, I dropped my card. This is a fun video today. And what struck me was that here these mother birds were creating a home for their babies, for the littlest birds, wherever they could. That even though it wasn't the most ideal space, or that wasn't the most, in my mind, it wasn't the most ideal space to raise children or to care for the little baby wee ones, they made it work, and they did the best that they could. And then there was even at one point where I'm sitting there and I'm just meditating, and I'm just like watching these animals and everything going on, and all this information is just like, percolating, and I'm writing this card. And all of a sudden I hear this group of kids in the background singing, and they're singing, I don't even remember what they want to sing. I want to, in my memory, say that they were singing one of the songs from Sound of Music. But I'm really not 100% positive, but The Sound of Music was my own mother's favorite song, favorite movie, and we would watch that all the time, and I would listen to those songs all the time. So the point of all of this is that She gives us our wings and the courage to live and be ourselves through connected affection. You are part of her divine love. She comforts and she empowers. And the ideal mother, now, not everybody's had the ideal mother. Not everybody's had a beautiful relationship with their mothers, but some have. And mine was not for a long, long time until I became an adult. And ultimately, when I started my own business, that's when she really shifted how our relationship shifted, because I remember her always saying how she regretted the relationship that she had with her father, and that was a huge pain for her because her father had passed before she was able to resolve that relationship. And so that was something that really stuck with me as a child, and it really perpetuated my feelings and my wanting to heal my relationship with my mother, because I didn't want her to pass without healing that relationship with her. So she and I did a lot of work and a lot of real discussions and talking with each other about my growing up and about how she treated me and understanding her. And what I came to was, so my mother was, I was born in 68. So she was 17 or 18. No, she was 21. She was 21 when she had me. And so she was in the 50s and 60s. And in that time, women did not have the opportunities that we have as now. And in fact, my mother, she wanted to be an engineer, but her father wouldn't let her go to school. He's like, no, you can't be an engineer. You have to either be a teacher or you have to be a nurse. And so she ended up going into nursing, and she became, she was a nurse midwife, and she worked in the baby space at the hospitals, but she also worked as a midwife and delivered babies at home. But because of her own guilt and shame and things that she had carried for all of the things that had happened in her life and how she showed up as a mother to me and my 7 brothers and sisters, she carried a lot of guilt and a lot of shame, which ultimately ended up being in her body and caused a lot of disease and dysfunction within her body, so that she basically ended up being bedbound for several years before she passed away. So last Sunday, with my super short video, I think it was only like 2.5 minutes, I was at the Sea Aquarium with my grandson. That day actually was the 3-year anniversary of my mother's passing, and I had decided I was going to spend the day with my grandson and with my sister and her grandbaby. So we spent the day together just in honor of my mother and in honor of the grandmother, and that feminine energy that we reconnected with. And ultimately, that's what happened, is after I took the time to heal that relationship with my mother and forgive my mother for how she showed up in this horrid, awful space as a mother to me, I saw her change completely different. And she was so proud of me, and she was so excited. I would give her, she was so excited for the work that I was doing. She even helped, she did some work for me in my accounting business. She'd open mail, and she organized the mail for me for clients that I was doing some cleanup work for, did some basic data entry. So she was super, super proud of me, and our relationship totally changed. And I'll never, the difference between how she was so neglectful to me as a child was so dramatic to how she showed up to me as an adult in this, giving me the courage to live and to be myself. And she was so proud of me, and I could tell just by her own energy and how she was looking at me and how she was sharing her enthusiasm with me, and just the grin on her face. Like, I knew she was super proud about what I was doing, and it just continued to encourage me to move forward. And it's still to this day, because there's still, like, I just did this beautiful meditation just before I did this video, and she showed up again of being so proud of me. She gives us our wings and the courage to live. And The reason why this is so important to heal this feminine relationship, to heal your mother relationship, because once your mom's gone, she's gone. But the part that's so important is that if we carry resentment and anger within our bodies, within ourselves, and we don't resolve this relationship with our mother, and it's possible to resolve this relationship while they're alive or not alive. It's all a lot of inner work and your own inner work, healing work. But when you're carrying resistance or you're carrying resentment within your body, you ultimately push away the money. You ultimately carry this negative vibe energy, and it translates through your money relationship. Everything is connected, and everything, you'll see patterns within your life. You'll see the patterns in your money life. You'll see the patterns in your relationship life. You'll see the patterns in your food life. You'll see the patterns in just your everyday situational work life. And this is why it's so important to heal your relationship with your mother in any way. Because the truth is, and I know this, is that even if there was a negative, horrible relationship that you've had with your mother, there's still a point at some point, and I promise you, I know this, that there's still something deep within her that is still so very proud of you, that is so grateful to have you as who you are, and is wanting you to succeed. And sometimes mothers feel like they get to be extra bossy and say extra things and give you extra advice. And it isn't because they don't think that you're capable of doing it. It's because they care about you so much, and they're doing their very best to inspire you and encourage you and keep you safe, because that's what our mothers do. They give us this place of safety and comfort and encouragement and inspiration to move our life forward. And all mothers really want to see their children do the very best. They just don't always know how to express them. Just like my mother, she didn't know how, she carried so much anger and resentment within herself towards the situation of her life, and not being able to express herself the way she was, that she just, exploded that anger and resentment out on me. And there's been some positive things from that, in that it toughened me up and it encouraged me to really shift that relationship, and get some great insight about it. And there's so many other things, but I strongly encourage you to heal that relationship within yourself with your mother, and allow your mother energy to heal and to find new comfort in that. And the divine feminine reminds us that just like the Father God, there's a mother God, as above, so below. And she, our divine mother, is always here supporting us, loving us, and caring us. And if you're not able to connect heart to heart and in that relationship with your mother, your physical mother, know that she, the divine mother, is here to support you as well, and allow her to comfort you and inspire you and heal and, wipe away the tears for you that may be there. Again, when you hold that resentment and anger within your body, it pushes the money away, and it stops that flow of divine light and divine energy towards you. Excuse me. So, gosh, too bad this is live, because otherwise I'd be bleeping that out right there. Anyway, the divine goddess. See how beautiful? Even goddesses burp, and it's okay. Okay, my divine money peeps, that's it for this, the final card, the final video for the divine feminine. Please visit me on my website at divinemoneymastery.com. You can get your own set of the Money Goddess card shipped to you and totally change and shift your relationship with your money. I also offer one-on-one sessions, and I would love to work with you to support you in shifting your mindset and your relationship with your money. and healing that relationship and bringing more profitable experiences to you through your business, through your employment, however it looks for you. Anyway, so there you go, the Divine Feminine, part 4. Please leave any questions or comments on the video, and I would be happy to get back to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Peace in.